Yesterday there was sun and there was rain, beauty in the mundane. And as the light startled our eyes, we let go of disguise.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Hannah Olson and I live with my husband and our 3 young children here in Minnesota. I'm a former elementary teacher turned stay-at-home homeschooling mom, and I love what I get to do all day, every day, and I also love sharing about it on my blog and on YouTube here. Today's video is a fun one because I'm sharing my March 2025, or springtime, I guess, 2025 favorites. The items I'm sharing today are going to be in more of random categories. I'm just going to share them as I've listed them out on my phone, and just like always, I only share things with you that I truly have tried and truly enjoy and what our family likes. So hopefully some of these recommendations will be helpful for you or just plain fun for you to see. I always love watching other people's favorites videos to see what they've been loving. So we're going to jump in here. I have all this stuff in a pile on the coffee table here, and let's get started. All right, we're going to start with an item that is very, I guess, niche. It's a very specific need, but it has been so helpful for me, and I just have to share it with you in case you are allergic to cats like I am. For me, I'm not like severely allergic. I don't know what most people's reactions are to cats. For me, I just sneeze and sneeze and sneeze, and my throat hurts and just feels scratchy. My nose is itchy and I'm sneezing and sneezing, and then my eyes water too. So this is a rental house that we are in right now. Our rental house is not our permanent house, and I'm really looking forward to showing you guys our actual house, especially those of you who are new here this summer when we move back home. But we live here in the Twin Cities for 5 months approximately of the year due to my husband's job, and we just like to move. The kids and I like to move with him so that we are still living with him for 5 months out of the year. And anyway, long story, I know, but I am allergic to cats. I hate sneezing and sneezing, of course. That's kind of unbearable for 5 months. And when we moved here into our rental house, it's a lovely home. We really, really do enjoy it. But someone had had a cat here before us, right before we moved in, and I was sneezing and sneezing and sneezing when we first got here, and I was finding cat hair places. And so I did some quick research because I was desperate, and I found this product called Pacogen Cat Allergen Neutralizing Spray. And if you haven't heard of it, I just really wanted to mention it in case it could help you as well, but also this has been a favorite for me. It is pretty pricey, and you don't want to just spray the entire spray bottle in one day because that would be extremely expensive, I think. I love that you can reapply it, like respray it every couple of days if you want. If you maybe recently vacuumed or dusted and it kind of kicks up more cat hair, that's when I've found that I pull this out. I am not using it very often, maybe not even once a week at this point, because, you know, a cat hasn't lived here for quite some time now, a couple months, a few months. And basically it works. It neutralizes somehow, magically or scientifically, it neutralizes these allergens that come in the air from cats and stuff. So anyway, I spray this. You can spray it on carpet, on furniture, on fabric, in the air as well. It's safe to use around pets, and it's safe to use around children. So I just wanted to mention this Pacogen Cat Allergen Spray. It's just a little set here. It's not a very big spray bottle, but if you are desperate and you find you are somewhere, even if you're just staying for a weekend somewhere where you know there's a cat and it's unbearable for you, I definitely wanted to mention this because it has made a world of difference for me enjoying living here in this rental house. Okay, so that was a very specific item, but hopefully it helps someone. The next item is our Earthly brand, Earthly Wellness DIY Natural Elderberry Syrup Kit. Syrup, however you say that. I don't even know how I say it half the time. But we've really become fans, especially me, of elderberry syrup this cold and flu season, this fall and winter. I am pretty well convinced by this point that our elderberry syrup and elderberry gummies that I make using this kit really help us not to get sick very much. We have not gotten sick much at all this winter season, and I'm so thankful for that. I know there are so many factors that lead into that. Also, our supplements. I have a whole video kind of recently about the supplements that the kids and I take every day because I think the supplementation helps a lot too. But we do have this in the mix. It's very easy to make, and I add a little bit extra water, so I water it down a bit, and then I actually reheat it up and I add gelatin to it, and then I pour it into a 13x9 pan and turn it into gummies, and the kids like that a lot better than just having the plain syrup like as a dose or something. It's a unique flavor. I think it's got like cinnamon and cloves and rose hips and stuff like that. Oh, not cloves, but you know, random flavors like that, kind of Christmassy flavors, I guess you could say. And I've come to really like it because I also know that it is helping me and it's good for me. So I'm not a doctor. I'm not trying to recommend exact supplements or whatever you need to take, but this is a huge favorite of ours. It's the Earthly Wellness Elderberry Syrup Kit, but it's the immune support one. They have another kit that's like cold and cough support. I just get the regular immune support kit. This next favorite of mine is this book called The Collapse of Parenting. If you've watched any of my more recent vlogs, if I'm taking the kids outside, I'm usually sitting and reading this book. So I'm not done with it yet. So full disclosure, I'm not done with it. I'm on page 205 and out of, I don't know, 345. So I've gotten pretty far, and I've read a lot of what he recommends, and it is a very fascinating book. The author is Leonard Sachs, and he has an MD and a PhD. So he's a family physician actually, and he's also a psychologist. And then now he's done lots of traveling and speaking to parents, interviewing kids, and then teaching about like parenting in general, and just also studying what is happening in our culture at large. I don't remember if he says if he's a Christian or not. This is a very interesting book, a book that maybe I don't agree with 100% of the things that he is sharing, but he has such valuable insights into what is going on with kids these days and the culture of disrespect and how parents are abdicating their authority as well. When I say abdicating their authority, what I mean is parents just wanting to be their kids' best friends and letting the kids really steer the ship in terms of every aspect of their lives. I think that abdicating authority might be his term, the author's term, but basically parents are so afraid these days of offending their children and making their children feel sad or any sort of uncomfortableness with whatever the parents' decisions are, that parents are letting kids really steer the ship in their everyday life and in bigger decisions as well. And it's just a really interesting read. It has lots of kind of case studies, anecdotal stories, but then he has a lot of studies that he cites. The book is full of footnotes, lots and lots of footnotes. So it's a very well cited book, and he does a great job with it. It's also very interesting to read. Like, it's actually engaging for me to read. Some books like this are very, very dry, you know, only citing studies. Other books are just someone's, I don't want to say rant, but you know, someone's opinions, which is fine for them to write. But this is a wonderful combination of that, I think. He's got the anecdotal stories, he's got his opinions, of course, and then he's citing lots and lots of helpful studies. He talks about screens, he talks about the culture of disrespect at large, he talks about how fragile kids are these days in their childhood and also how they're growing up, citing longitudinal studies, and so much more. So that's enough about that, but The Collapse of Parenting has been really an impactful book for me, very convicting and also motivating for me as a mom. Switching gears, my next favorite here is a type of dry shampoo. It's a brand called Puracy. I feel like I've always been on the quest for a really good dry shampoo. I didn't necessarily want one that was aerosol. This one is though, but it's benzene free, and I like that about it. It also just plain works really well. So this Puracy brand, it doesn't leave a whole bunch of residue. It brushes out nicely. This type of dry shampoo, I've also noticed, gives my hair more like texture, like more to grab onto, like when I use a hair clip and stuff like that. So if you want a nice dry shampoo, I definitely recommend this one. I find that a little goes a long ways, and it really does build up, not in a bad way, but it like adds texture. Maybe not too much volume for me today, but we were out in the wind. But I do really like this one. But I will link this down below along with everything else. I wanted to mention a couple other favorites, although I don't have anything to really show you here. We've been really enjoying, as you know, probably from my vlogs, I've been enjoying sourdough a lot lately, and our favorite sourdough recipes recently have been bagel recipes. And we've added everything bagel seasoning on top of the plain bagels, but also Farmhouse on Boone has a wonderful blueberry bagels recipe. And I'm convinced this is my 5-year-old son's love language. He is always asking for bagels, even as a snack, or he's asking me to make another batch. So I have been doubling the batch that Farmhouse on Boone has, and I love how deep of a purple they turn out. It's really fun to make purple colored bagels. It's just fun for kids and it's beautiful. And they are delicious. So I definitely recommend checking out those recipes if you are a lover of sourdough like I am, and I will link her 2 recipes for plain and for blueberry bagels down below. Okay, this next item is, or it's 2 items I guess, are my new pairs of jeans. I have 2 new pairs of jeans. If you follow me on Instagram, you saw me share about them. I'm trying to get away from wearing my skinny jeans, my beloved millennial, I guess, skinny jeans all day, every day. I'm trying to wear more dresses and skirts. I think it'll be easier for me to do here in Minnesota, especially in the spring and summer, maybe the fall too, and just for ease of getting dressed. I always love that. But I've also been trying to jump on board with the baggy jeans trend. I've never liked my jeans super baggy, and I don't know why. That's just my preference. Maybe because it was always hard to find jeans that would fit my sister and I when we were growing up. But anyway, these jeans have been wonderful. They do feel like sweatpants, like some people have mentioned. I've seen them recommended before, and they're on Amazon, and they are stretchy. They are still form-fitting a bit around the top, but then through the leg and down they are a lot more baggy, but they are comfortable, and dare I say, I think they are pretty flattering. So I don't really know how to show you these, but these are the jeans. Can't really show you the full thing, but you can see they are a wider leg, and maybe I can insert like my Instagram reel, or maybe just I will link that down below in the description box. But these are the dark blue shade that I have, and then I'm currently wearing, should I stand on this chair? I'm currently wearing very, very light blue ones to go with this navy top. So maybe I'll stand on the chair and then you can see. I've never done a favorites video standing on a chair before. So what do you think? See, they are stretchy, they are baggy, oh, I almost fell off. They're baggy down through here, not too short, not too long. And anyway, I really like having the light blue and I like having the dark blue. I don't think I need to buy a whole range of colors for those. I'm actually really pleased with them, and I've been reaching for them over my skinny jeans recently, which is really fun. So I will link those down below for you. I wanted to mention another favorite recipe of ours. It is our energy balls recipe. I hope I didn't mention this one before. I might have, because it's such a favorite, but it is basically an emergency in our family when we run out of these energy balls. They are peanut butter, oat, chocolate chip, and coconut. You can omit the coconut if you're not a fan, but they are absolutely amazing and delicious. They're wonderful as a breakfast on the go. You can eat them for breakfast, for snack time, a late night snack, and the kids absolutely love them. I've kind of learned over time that I really like using organic quick oats instead of organic old-fashioned oats, but it truly doesn't matter. They are pretty versatile. The recipe is very easy for you to tweak however you want. You can substitute different ingredients, but we love this tried and true recipe that I've tweaked over time, and I will link that down below. Honestly, talking about them right now, since it's been a little while since lunch, makes me want to eat them for a snack. So when I'm done filming this video, I'm going to go grab a few of those energy balls for my snack. Another favorite of mine for this time of year, although it's not mandatory for this time of year, is a Spotify playlist that I specifically curated for springtime. I think I called it Bloom or something, but I will link that down below as well. Just consider it a CD that I burned for you. I know I always talk about my peaceful evening playlist. I love that one. I turn to it all the time, not just in the evenings, just anytime. But I love springtime and the little extra energy, pep in our step, and a little extra hope that we have, especially here in Minnesota when it's springtime. And so it's a little bit more of an upbeat playlist that reminds you of like springtime or birds singing, or just that feeling of rest, but also that winter is done and we all have a little bit more zest for life, I feel like. So I will link my Spotify playlist down below. I hope you really enjoy listening to it along with me. This next item is kid related, so it's a children's book, but I would argue that any good children's book, if it's truly a good children's book, it is good enough to be super enjoyed by adults. I love children's literature and I plan to continue enjoying good children's books for the rest of my life. So anyway, this book is called 7 Little Rabbits by John Becker. It's illustrated by Barbara Cooney, who has some really great books out there herself, like Miss Rumphius and stuff. But this book is such a comfort read for me. It's about 7 little rabbits who go walking down the road to visit old friend Toad. It's a very repetitive book. There are lots of rhymes kind of hidden throughout the middle of lines too, which is a really fun kind of style of poetry or writing. I love it so much. It has darling illustrations, which is just like Barbara Cooney to do. I love her illustrations. Anyway, the rabbits find a hole built by a mole, and they are constantly, it's the world's most inefficient little trek that they're on, because they constantly are turning around when one more rabbit gets tired, and instead of going on to Toad's house, they are turning around back to Mole's house so that one more rabbit can go to sleep, which is darling. It is just a sweet read. It's such a comforting book. I think the comfort comes from the repetition and just the fact that all the bunnies are one by one going to sleep. So it's a very peaceful book. It is a book that I would read to the kids every single night before bed if they let me. And actually, I've done several nights in a row last week, but I've since moved on a little bit to other things. This book actually in 2021, I brought it on our trip to Florida when my husband and I brought Sophie and Soren to Florida. And this was one of like 2 children's books I threw in our luggage, and we read it every night of our trip. And so I have a lot of sweet memories from reading this book. Definitely check it out if you have not heard of 7 Little Rabbits by John Becker. Along similar lines is another children's book. This one is beautiful. Also would be great for older kids as well, just because it's a poem, but it's an illustrated poem basically. So this is the poem called If by Rudyard Kipling. If you haven't heard of it, it is, oh my goodness, such a good poem. It's talking about all the different ways that you can be resilient and honorable and smart and wise in your life. It's especially directed, I guess you could say, towards a boy who is wanting to grow up, but it definitely is applicable. All the lessons and just wisdom in this poem are applicable to girls and boys and pretty much any age. We have this poem on a children's poetry Yodo card, which is so fun. So we get to hear that a lot. You know, the repetition has really helped us to memorize most of the poem. And I really ought to have the kids memorize it for real for school. But it has gorgeous illustrations. I'll just show you a couple of them. Basically talking about all the different things that you are learning over your life. The illustrations just show a lot of different adventures. Let's see if I can find another one for you right here. So lots to think about in the illustrations themselves, but the poem itself is just so beautiful. And they have the entire full poem on the back page here as well. And maybe you've heard little parts of it, like, if you can keep your head when all about you are losing theirs and blaming it on you. I love the fact that this poem talks about, and this, I promise this video is not all about poetry that I love, but it talks about if you can dream and not make dreams your master, and if you can think and not make thoughts your aim, if you can meet with triumph and disaster and treat those 2 imposters just the same. It's just beautiful, and it's just such a good kind of a coming of age feel, but it's just full of lessons, life lessons. I know it's not scripture, but it does in a lot of ways remind me of Proverbs in the Bible too. So this is just a gorgeously illustrated version of the poem If. I'm afraid this next favorite of mine is going to be a little crinkly, but I will hold it up delicately for you and then maybe I will unload it here. This is our collection of logic puzzles, logic activity pack. I call it the logic puzzles. But anyway, it has 16 printables. This is something created by JDA or JD Alvarez over on Teachers Pay Teachers, but she is a homeschooling mom with a YouTube channel and stuff like that. But she has awesome resources, and you might have heard me talk about her handwriting workbooks that I have used, especially for Soren. We love her stuff. This is just gold. I love this. If you had to look up one thing by JDA, definitely look into this logic activity pack. And now I will show you what the different activities actually are. Okay, so every activity is one page, and what I did was I printed out all 16 activities and then I laminated them, and then I put Velcro dots on them. Can you see that? Velcro stickers. They're like circular Velcro stick-on things. And so what I did was I wanted my kids to be able to put the little pieces on using Velcro. It just is so much easier than sliding things around, and then if their wrist bumps it, then suddenly they've moved their pieces around, which is frustrating for them. So anyway, I highly recommend getting Velcro dots to go along with this. Oops. But what you do, it's kind of like those older logic puzzles that I remember doing in elementary school, is you just think of the two different characteristics or qualities across the different axes, and you just put the answer on. So this is a blue square, so it's in the blue row, and you'd have to put it where a square goes. Another piece that they give you is a red circle, so you have to think of where a red circle would go. This is game 4, and they get increasingly more difficult as you get up to game 16. I'll just show you one more of them. This is game 8, and game 8 is, again, harder than game 4. The pieces for game 8 are all 2 animals together. This one's an elephant and a chicken, so you have to look kind of at the intersection of the elephant and the chicken, and that piece would go right down here. We've got a turkey and a frog, so that would go right here where the turkey and the frog meet. I just think it's brilliant. I love these games. I think they're so fun, and the kids really do enjoy them too. I do keep them tucked away, and then we bring them out during certain school days or for fun, because otherwise everything gets mixed up and spread around, which is frustrating for everybody. But I just put it, that's kind of hard to show, but I wrote game 8 on this bag, and then I put all the pieces for game 8 in the game 8 bag, and I actually wrote game 8 here on the bottom. So you can organize it however you like, but it's really inexpensive. I think it's less than $10 on Teachers Pay Teachers, or maybe it was like $6 when I got it. So I will link this logic activity pack down below. It is so much fun, whether for homeschool or just as a fun activity to do with the kids. This next product is something we use every single day in our household. It is called Eucerin Baby Eczema Relief Cream. There's a regular one that looks very, very similar. It's called Eucerin Eczema Relief Cream, I believe, but I have tried all sorts of things for our skin issues, and the Baby brand, for whatever reason, I think they make it thicker of a formula, so it goes on more thick, and I just love it so much. This is my personal one. So yes, I use Eucerin Baby Eczema Relief Cream on my hands. I use it every night on my hands, but it can be used anywhere else that you are having a flare-up. Svea, our 2-year-old, and I both have quite sensitive skin, and we both use this. I put it on her hands at night too, or anywhere else that she needs some help, and so I just wanted to recommend this. If you are looking for something to help with those dry winter hands, definitely look into the Eucerin Baby brand of their eczema cream. My final favorite that I want to share with you today are these True Lemon little packets. They are literally just crystallized fruit powder, or just crystallized fruit. So it says 1 packet equals 1 wedge. It's the taste of 1 wedge of lemon squeezed into your drink, and it makes water so much more fun to drink, and it has no sugar. It's not like a Crystal Light packet with sugar, or it's not like lemonade or something. It's straight up just lemon, and I love it so much. I get a whole big pack of these, and I try to drink at least one of my glasses of water every day has a True Lemon packet in it. That's it for today's video. Thank you for watching. I hope it was fun for you to hear what some of my current favorites have been here in spring 2025, and I would love to hear something that is a current favorite for you, so be sure to leave that down below in the comments. And I'm so glad you're here. If you haven't already taken the time to subscribe, it would mean so much to me if you would hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up, as it helps small channels like mine to keep on going. I love sharing about all things motherhood, homemaking, and homeschooling, so if you like any of that kind of content, content, then be sure to stick around. I also have a free webinar. I will link it down below in the description box. It is my 4 productivity secrets for moms of young children. So I hope that is helpful to you as well. Thanks again for watching and for being here. Hope you're having a wonderful day wherever you're at, and I will see you in my next one. Bye guys.